Here's more wrestling news for March 28th, 2022, and your headlines for this afternoon include MJF calls CM Punk a disturbed sociopath, Charlotte Flair says Ronda Rousey has to prove herself ahead of WrestleMania 38, major changes to WrestleMania plans for Kofi Kingston and King Woods revealed, Kairi Sane ruptured her eardrum during return match at STARDOM, CJ Lana Perry film wins Razzie Award for terrible movies, Buff Bagwell stands up for Nyla Rose and the LGBTQ+ community. Stupid son of a bitch. The Undertaker takes a massive shot at top WWE superstar. Recent signee taking time off from Tony Khan's AEW. Ric Flair podcast host quits amid raging Twitter beef. Bret Hart responds to rumors about joining AEW. WWE stars react to Will Smith slapping Chris Rock at the Oscars, and more. We are kicking off with AEW Revolution 2022, where CM Punk got revenge on MJF, the one man to have beaten him in the company, besting the Salt of the Earth in a dog collar match. A match with no disqualification or countouts, the fact that Wardlow gave Punk a big assist in the match, turning on MJF in the process, was completely legal, but that's not how MJF sees it. Speaking on the Ariel Helwani show, MJF discussed the match and had some harsh words for the straight-edge wrestler. If I'd beaten Punk, I am definitely sure I would have moved up very high in the rankings to the point of #1 contendership. Unfortunately, I did not because he decided to cheat and had Wardlow hand him the ring, which, by the way, who hits somebody with a ring to win? The amount of disturbed sociopathic energy you must have in your brain to cheat at a sport. He cheated and we're all just clapping for him. It's sickening. While many consider MJF as one of the company's best stars, he's still yet to hold a championship in AEW, though as far as the Salt of the Earth is concerned, he's not challenging for the AEW World title because of Punk and his alleged cheating ways. At WrestleMania, Ronda Rousey will face SmackDown Women's Champion Charlotte Flair in a battle of two of WWE's most controversial female superstars. Both Rousey and Flair have been accused of receiving pushes that other superstars deserved more, but there's no denying the in-ring skill and star power both women possess. Last week, Rousey announced that she suffered a tear to her labial frenulum, a piece of tissue in her gums, and has been feeling sick mere days before her title match at WrestleMania. Speaking to TMZ Sports, Flair discussed the match and Rousey's injury, saying, "If that hurt her, I can't wait to see Mania. I don't think I have anything left to prove. It's Ronda who has something to prove, not me." Rousey has only lost one match throughout her entire WWE career, and that came at the hands of Becky Lynch, but the Queen of All Eras is looking to get a victory of her own against a megastar Charlotte believes still has something to prove. Last weekend, Kairi made her return to in-ring competition for STARDOM, competing at their World Climax 2022 event. On the show, the former NXT Women's and WWE Women's Tag Champion defeated Starlight Kid, but she also suffered a nasty injury in the process. In a video posted to STARDOM's Twitter account, Sane explained that she ruptured her eardrum during the match, but said that she was happy during the match and that the pain made her happy. Coincidentally, Dustin Rhodes suffered the exact same injury last week due to a post-match attack by Lance Archer during last Friday's Rampage, and we're wishing a speedy recovery to both him and the Pirate Princess. Last night was the annual Oscars, celebrating the very best in cinema over the past year, but that wasn't the only ceremony. A night before the Oscars is the Razzies, a celebration of the very worst films, and CJ Perry's latest film now has a Razzie Award. The former Lana performed in Cosmic Sin alongside Bruce Willis, and the film won in a special category all about films starring the die-hard actor that came out in 2021. Cosmic Sin, which boasts a whopping 3% approval rating on Rotten Tomatoes, beat out 7 other films, all of which came out last year starring Bruce Willis. Unsurprisingly, neither he nor the former WWE superstar appeared to accept the award in person, and while Perry has said she plans on getting back into movies now her WWE career is over, this isn't a great start for the former Lana. We've got Buff Bagwell news now, as the former WCW star is continuing to try and turn his life around, but trended recently for a very different reason. On Twitter, Bagwell trended for his outspoken support of Nyla Rose and the entire LGBTQ+ community. On the site, Bagwell praised Rose, questioning why she hasn't regained the AEW Women's World title, and when a transphobic fan responded saying that Rose needs to be a woman to be women's champion, Bagwell fired back saying that the grown folks are talking. The next morning, he said that some people were surprised of his tweet and reaffirmed that he's 100% behind the LGBTQ+ community. Bagwell responded to several tweets about his sexuality and outlook, saying that his on-screen character had metrosexual qualities, a term he only learned about recently. Buff added that DDP's home, which he calls the accountability crib, has been a huge help to him and told one fan that he's been doing a lot of work to get where he needs to be mentally. Bagwell's issues with addiction and the law have been well documented for years, so much so that he will be part of DDP's new docuseries Change or Die, and we are wishing for the best for the former WCW World Tag Team Champion. This Friday, The Undertaker will take his place in the WWE Hall of Fame after a career that saw him face and beat countless legends of the ring. One name on that list is Stone Cold Steve Austin, and despite their differences, there's a lot of respect shared between the two Texans. At the recent NASCAR Echo Park Automotive Texas Grand Prix, the Phenom discussed Austin's impending return and didn't hold back on the man who's been goating the Rattlesnake, Kevin Owens. Well, in the immortal words of Stone Cold Steve Austin, Kevin Owens has got to be one stupid son of a bitch. I don't care where you're from, you don't mess with the Texas Rattlesnake. He ain't been in the ring in 19 years, you don't think he's gonna be bringing lumber with him? I don't know what KO is thinking. Adding that he pities Owens, as the former Universal Champion has brought this on himself, The Undertaker shared a similar sentiment to Austin, Booker T, and JBL that KO should have never messed with Texas. Austin and Owens are expected to headline WrestleMania Saturday, the first time the show of shows will close without an actual match, and with the dead man, one of many legends, standing against him, this Saturday could be a long night for Kevin Owens. More from AEW as Paige Van Zandt has signed with the promotion, but could soon be taking some time off from TV. On the March 9th episode, the MMA fighter signed a deal with AEW, and it was believed that she would continue her budding feud with Brandy Rhodes until the latter left the company days later. According to the Wrestling Observer newsletter, Van Zandt may not be a regular on TV, as she's already signed up for her next fight with the Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. Paige didn't appear on either Dynamite or Rampage last week, and it remains to be seen how much she'll appear in the run-up to her July 9th fight in London, England. After leaving WWE last year, Ric Flair has been busy with his Woo Nation Uncensored podcast, which had some huge fallout last weekend. On Sunday, Mark Madden announced that he was leaving the show and thanked Flair for the opportunity to host the podcast. In response, Flair clarified Mark's comments for him, saying that Madden was fired from the show, and also confirmed that he'll be working with Conrad Thompson from here on. Firing back in a less civil tone than earlier, Madden accused Flair of lying to him about the podcast, claiming that Flair didn't have the balls to fire him, and instead claimed the podcast had been canceled. Madden didn't stop there, saying that Flair had gone from the greatest wrestler ever to someone people don't want to associate with now, and claimed that Rick was bound for AEW prior to the controversial Dark Side of the Ring episode. Madden is perhaps best known for his time as a color commentator for WCW, but after this very public fallout, we're wondering who will be willing to work with him next. Back to WWE, as there's been a lot of questions about what WrestleMania plans are in store for The New Day ever since Big E suffered a broken neck earlier this month. We previously reported that the original plan was for The New Day to face Sheamus, Ridge Holland, and Butch, though obviously that can't happen now. In an update from Fightful Select, they report that as of last Friday, the plan was changed to feature Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston facing Sheamus and Ridge Holland, but said that Holland could still be swapped out for Butch. Their report adds that some have considered scrapping the match altogether, which would mean two former WWE champions and the reigning King of the Ring would be off the biggest show of the year. The last time the entire New Day competed together at WrestleMania was back in 2016, and while we know for a fact that Kofi, Woods, and Big E won't team together this weekend, WWE still has a decision to make about whether a substitute tag match will go on ahead. AEW news now is when FTR fired Tully Blanchard as their manager a few weeks ago, the duo almost immediately teased that Bret Hart would be his replacement. Bret does have something of a history with the promotion, as it was the Hitman who presented the AEW World Championship in 2019, and on TV, the Young Bucks have said that FTR could get a manager who's the best there is, a nod at Bret's moniker. Bret himself has kept quiet about the rumors of joining AEW up until recently, that is, as during a virtual signing, the former WWE champion was asked about going to AEW and responded, "Go there and do what?" On last week's Dynamite, Dax Harwood used a sharpshooter on CM Punk, another major Bret fan, and Cash Wheeler said his partner wrestled from the heart in front of a pink background. All signs seem to point to Bret Hart joining AEW, but for now, the excellence of execution is keeping coy about any potential future plans. And we're ending with news from the Oscars, as Will Smith delivered a right hand that would have had Jim Ross shaking in his seat. During a speech by Chris Rock, the comedy actor poked fun at Will's wife Jada Pinkett Smith, joking that the actress is looking to be in G.I. Jane 2. This was a reference to Jada's shaved head, and both she and Will have been open in the past about her battle with alopecia, a condition that causes hair loss. On social media, several wrestlers responded, with Sami Zayn claiming he knows what it's like to be attacked while posting a photo of himself in a wheelchair. Xavier Woods tweeted that he has no clue what's going on, while Mick Foley said that if it was The Rock making the same joke, Smith wouldn't have slapped the Brahma Bull. Some have questioned if this was a genuine heat-of-the-moment incident, or if, like pro wrestling, it was a work. And what do you think? Let us know in the comments. Well guys, that's our news for today. Please share your comments below. Also hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon to receive all notifications. And as always, thanks for watching.